and it is Thursday, March 26th. We're actually still in here working on some stair-climbing robots, and we're shipping out some orders for people who are building ventilators and selling a lot of webcams for doctors. So I think we're supporting pretty much people on the front lines during this pandemic. Anyway, let's get to today's tech tip. So I'm going to show you a couple of things to do to get access to screws and nuts that are in a hard to get or hard to access area. Let's say you've got a screw over here or a nut over here, and you don't have access to that area. You'll have to get through that area through some holes on your drive base or whatever you're doing. It's just a hard to get screw. It's a hard to access nut. First, let's talk about the screws. I like using socket head cap screws. You can see that there, socket head cap screw, and I like using these Allen drivers that you can buy from us. So you can get them from lots of places. This is a Bondhouse, I think, version. This is a 5/32 ball end style. There's flat styles at the end, but you can put this. Usually, this drives the nut, or it drives the screw. But if you jar it at all, it easily falls off. So if you hit something or you get at something inside of where you're working, these things fall off pretty easily. So a way to keep this screw on this driver is pretty simple. We've all got pieces of trash that are trashy bags. Just pull off a small piece of your clear bag, just a clear plastic, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 mil thick, and you put it on the end. You put it on the end of your Allen driver, and then you shove the screw on, and it's pretty tight. So I'm knocking it, hitting it, and it's pretty tight. So you can see if the screw is on there, so is the piece of trash on the end of the Allen driver. So I can go through, hopefully you can see this, I can go through a hole, I can turn my thing, I can go through another hole, and I can get access to this remote screw without losing it inside of my assembly. So use a piece of trash to get a closer, tighter fit for your socket head screws on your Allen wrenches. Tip 1. Tip 2. Many times we want to use a wrench, an open-ended wrench or a closed wrench, whatever, to hold a nut in place, but you can't get to that nut with easy access. You have to reach in there, and you're liable to drop the nut or lose that nut. So obviously, when you put a nut into a wrench, it just falls out. What do? So, what I do, take a roll of tape, electric tape, masking tape. This is gaff tape. I put it on one face of the wrench, like that, and I put the nut in that pocket, and I press the nut onto the tape, and now the nut stays there. Pretty cool. So now I can get in at a location where it's hard to get, and you can feed a nut into something that gravity wants to pull it out of your wrench. Tip 2. So simple things to do to save you time and frustration, building your robots, fixing things, having fun. There you go. So be safe. I'll see you tomorrow.